And they don't even know, bro.
They don't. But
It's so satisfying.
Yeah, it is. Thanksgiving passed by. How was that, man?
Thanksgiving. You know, I never know when Thanksgiving is until like the week of.
Yeah. Is it? It's always. It's not the first week of October. It's the second week.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know many holidays. If you ask me what date a holiday is on besides Christmas and New Year's, I can't tell you.
You don't know Halloween?
I don't consider that a holiday.
That's fair.
You don't get time off for that.
Yeah, that's true. But other than that, it was good to spend time with family.
Yeah, my family spent so my family came up from Hamilton to be at Priya's house with her family. So it was like a joined.
Like a big together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Same thing for me. It was nice and chill. Well, I had to take a life-saving course over the weekend. So it was unfortunate that I didn't really have any time to I had Friday I had class from 5 till 9, Saturday 9 till 6, Sunday 9:30 till 4. So, I know, right? So I didn't have too much time for the holidays or for the weekend, but other than that, cousins came over. It was nice.
What do El Salvadorians eat for Thanksgiving?
Okay, so here's the thing. We've kind of I don't know if it's the same thing in your household, but we've kind of slowly begun again, no offense, white tendencies. We used to on Thanksgiving we used to have this thing called pan con pollo. It's just called it's bread with chicken, but it's good marinated sauteed chicken for a day or two. And you put in your tomatoes, everything that you want in a sandwich. And it's meant to be this big old sandwich with I don't know, it's a tomato sauce, but it's not. It's with the broth of the chicken, but with tomato sauce as well.
This
but
description is all over the place.
I know. It's hard to explain, but it's so damn good. Okay. But the thing is that it's messy. It's a messy sandwich, and it's meant to be messy. So that's why it was a cool way of especially if you brought new people, the intimidation factor kind of leaves the moment you all have to get really messy and gross when you're eating food.
Or it goes up.
Yeah, well, I mean, if everybody else is doing it,
some people are stressed to eat in front of people.
I know.
I'm not.
I don't care. I'm eating my food.
I've heard some girls that don't like dinner dates because they don't want the guy to see how they eat. And I'm like, if you're not comfortable to eat in front of him,
right.
You might as well just go home now.
Yeah, it's not going to get any easier.
Yeah, everything else that comes after this is even more stressful.
Yep. Well, yeah, it was funny because, the thing is that we were supposed to record technically last week. But there was two reasons as to why. One, yes, because it was Thanksgiving, and I think we just needed a little break, when in reality we could have done it. But the other reason, which is kind of the main reason, is that I couldn't record the night that we were supposed to record. And it was the only night that you and I were technically available because we had Thanksgiving.
I mean, I came to, we could have did it in Barry, but editing the video and the audio,
and I had the course, right?
You would have to do all of it by yourself because I wasn't in at home.
Right, exactly. So we're let's play it safe, and we're going to do that. But the reason why, and I apologize if I look a little tired because I was at the ER this morning. The reason why, as to why we couldn't record, is because I got injured. I got severely injured, sort of. So I'll explain this story.
And now he's taking life-saving courses.
Yeah. No, what happened So I work at a rec facility as a lifeguard, and I had a shift on Wednesday with another coworker of mine that ended around 8:00. So the shift ended, and everything's fine. And we're on our way out. I'm sitting in my car, just sending some texts that I couldn't send while I was at work. And I'm about to pull out of the parking lot, and I get a phone call from my boss. My boss is like, "Hey, I need you to come back in because I didn't realize we had another swim. There was a swim from 8 till 9. And I was like, what? Like, can you come back in? This is the 50-50 where I'm like, oh, I'm on my way home. I can't do that.
I wouldn't have answered my phone.
But it's another hour, and like honestly, it's just me standing there, and I get paid like an extra hour. So it was like not the end of the world. I'm like, okay, whatever. I get out of my car, grab my stuff, and I'm making my way into the facility. And so the way you can get on the pool deck is, imagine if there's like a big, giant like window screen, like at the viewing gallery for people to watch their kids swim. Mm-hmm. And on the left-hand side, there's a two-way emergency door. Used to be an emergency door, but now it's to allow our patrons to come in and out of the building through the pool deck because they can't come into the change rooms because of COVID. I don't know but whatever. Anyways, I start making my way over there, and I see my boss. My boss has the door open. She's like, thanks so much for coming in. I completely forgot that we had this scheduled. I was like, okay, that's fine. And I have to take my shoes off because, again, we can't have shoes on deck. I'm not even running. I take one step forward, and I go from like standing to like sitting midair. So I'm like, I'm falling. And I'm like, what is happening? And it's like, it's when those things happen in slow motion, I'm seeing myself like fall in slow motion. I'm like, ow.
An out-of-body experience.
Out-of-body experience, for real. And I hit the ground really hard, and I'm like, ow, that hurt. But I don't think anything of it. I look up, and I see that my pinky toe on my left is gushing blood. Like, gushing. Like, gushing blood.
Yo, I don't like... I know he has to tell the story for like the pod.
I have the pictures.
I don't like blood, bro. I hate it.
I have the pictures.
Well, can't send them to me because I'm recording with my phone, so...
I can send it to you on Discord.
Oh, no.
And it'd be a great reaction for the people to send. I'll send it eventually when the story's over. But, okay, so what happened, I hit the ground, and I'm like, ow. What I think happened, because we're trying to figure out what cut me, is I think as I was falling, my toe got caught on the corner of the metal door, and it just went up. So cut it clean.
Oh, I can't feel my legs, bro.
Dang. So I'm bleeding, and it looks like a saw scene. Like it's all over. So I had to get on deck and sit on the side while my boss had to come over and essentially tend to me, as well as myself tending to myself. And she brought like gauze and stuff like that, but it's like seeping through, like it's bleeding. And I filled out an incident report for myself, but now it's like WSIB, like it's a workers related injury. So I'm like, okay, I have to, like, this is going to need stitches. Mm-hmm. So I go, here's the funny thing. And we have come to this point because EJ mentioned this as well. My first idea was not call my parents. My first idea was not, am I okay? I called EJ just to say, hey, bro, I don't think we're going to be able to record today. And he's like, why? It's like, I hurt myself, but it's going to be a great story for when we record. I didn't care for my well-being at that point. I'm like, this is going to make good content.
Oh my God. See, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, it is what it is, fam.
All right. So I'm like, all right, I'll figure that out later. And then I wrapped it all up, finished the incident report, and I had to take myself to the hospital. Because I'm like, I can't go home, and this is not going to heal on its own.
Which foot was it?
My left foot. So it's not my driving foot,
all
right?
Cool. And
everybody...
And Eliott doesn't drive standard, so we all good.
I do. Yeah, we're all good. Every single person asked me that. It's like, you drove yourself? It's like, yeah, it was my left foot. Like, do you drive standard? Like, no. It's like, okay. Everybody was just concerned for that part. But anyways, I got in the car and I drove to the hospital. As I was driving, I messaged my parents just saying, hey, don't worry about it. I might be here for a while, but I'm fine. Got there around 9:30 and I'm hobbling on one foot because I can't put my foot in the shoe because it's bleeding.
Oh,
profusely. So I'm hobbling and it's like 9:30 and I'm like, hey, I'm cut. Like, I need to get this stitched up. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's 9 in the evening. It's the ER at RVH. For those of you who don't know, RVH is a very, very busy hospital in Barrie. And especially because we have universal healthcare, anybody can come in from like, oh, my elbow hurts, to someone like legitimately having a gunshot. And there's the same wait time, sort of. Anyways, I go and see this nurse. She gets me all settled. And I'm asking her, hey, I don't know if this matters. I don't want to be like it's seeping through. Like I'm bleeding essentially on the nurse's floor. Ugh. And she sees that. She sees it. And she's like, okay, I'm going to have to re-bandage you up. So she took off the old one, re-bandaged me. She got me a wheelchair because she's like, you can't be putting pressure on that foot because you're going to keep bleeding through your bandaging. Like, okay, that's fine. So I grabbed the wheelchair, sat in there. Bro, I did not get my stitches in until 3:30 in the morning.
At what time did you get there?
9 in the evening, 9:30 in the evening.
You should have just went home, turned on the flat top, and just cauterized your toe,
the
bro.
George Foreman grill and just cauterized that ish.
I've seen guys do that in the kitchen.
I believe that. But I sat there and then I got my stitches in and I got home at like 4:10 in the morning. Thankfully, I did not work that morning. And if I did, I would have just called in. I'm like, I'm not coming. Love that. So I had to deal with that. And then throughout those 6 hours, I'm like, I also forgot my headphones in my car and I couldn't go back because I could risk getting called and not getting my spot. So I was like, I'm going to have to just play some music, but like quietly on my phone. I started like essentially Snapchatting everybody, just being like, this is what's happening. Like I'm friggin' dying. Because I didn't have service in the hospital. So I just have to use the Wi-Fi. I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, no, I didn't because I was going to Snapchat you. I didn't think you would want to see the blood.
Oh, you right.
That's why I didn't. That's right. I didn't. I'm like, no, because
I was roasting you in the camera just now, but it's okay. I retract.
I retract. But I was just sending messages to everybody. I'd be like, you need to keep me company or I'm going to go insane. So I was talking with a bunch of people and even like hour 4, some random, like we got some weird people in Barrie. So like this is like 2 a.m. And this guy just like starts like singing in the waiting room.
Well,
while it's all quiet, but it's not like singing. It's like this singing, like, it's kind of like if I sing Happy Birthday, it'd be like,
oh, that's
like
crack.
he's humming in, right? He's humming in and out. And
that's
I'm drugs. Like, bro. Like, I'm like, bro, you need to shut up. But in my head, but I can't say this.
Thankfully,
right?
Exactly. You know, the Brazilian crackheads, bro. You can't fight them. And you got a 1 foot Eliott.
This man woke up at the crack of crack, okay? I cannot fight this man. Okay? Anyways, thankfully the nurse took him away. And like it was a cool thing where like everybody in the waiting room just acknowledged each other, being like, thank God that nurse is a godsend. Everybody just like, this kid would not shut up. So we dealt with that. Got my stitches in. And I came back home, and then I've just been in recovery, and I got them out actually on the time of recording today. At the yank them out and everything. So
did it hurt? Did they have to numb your foot?
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's get to that part. So the cut was fine. I have a pretty good pain tolerance. Like a lot of stuff doesn't really hurt me. Like I'm just good with the pain. The needle that they gave me was like, because what they have to do is they have to go on the edge of the cut and then go in. So they're like, this is gonna hurt this is gonna be the worst part. So they went in, it's like 2, 3, and I'm like, oh, like I'm good with pain. I felt that. Ugh. I was like, oh, and I had to get like 3 or 4, and then I had to get 6 stitches, 1 for each hour. I had to wait in the emergency room.
Gee,
gosh, like it was wild. So I'm gonna send you the pictures just so you can.
I've had a bad needle before.
Yeah,
when I was. How old was I? I think I was like 15, 14.
Mm-hmm.
And oh no, he sent me the picture. Oh, I'm scared to look, y'all.
There's one. One is the open cut. One is with the stitches.
All right, okay. I'm gonna do it. Do it. Yo, this is scary. I don't like seeing. Oh, okay. All right.
I think the one with the stitches looks worse than the one with just the cut because they've cleaned it. So like it's not terrible, but it's deep.
Ugh. It's not that bad, but like
it trust me, it looks better than what it was. It looks way better than what it was.
Oh, your foot's jacked up.
Bruh. Bruck up.
Ew.
Yeah.
Get this
so
off
I got
my
them
computer.
Out. You can
No, I don't want to see that no more.
All right, I'll delete them.
Elliott's foot on my computer with stitches running down the man.
Yeah, so I got them out today. So it looks better, but it's just now in the healing process of essentially the skin just forming itself again. So yeah. So I was like, I had to wait a full week and a half, and I was talking to like my friends from work and then some other people as well. Shout out to you. You know who you are. And they're like, one of them actually told me, it's like, oh, you're going to be able to like monetize this. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. Just wait for the story and just talk. I hope so.
I hope so.
I mean, we'll see how this works. They were all curious as to the story, and I told them, I'm like, half the people I told, the other half who were like curious about it, I told them, I'm like, wait till the episode comes out, and then you can listen to the story.
Ugh, bro.
So yeah,
I can handle my own injuries fine.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hearing other people's injuries that drive me nuts.
Really?
Like, I can go through what they went through and it won't feel as bad to me as hearing them tell their story about the pain.
Dang.
Yeah. I hate it.
Interesting.
Like, I hated that story so much just now.
That's jokes.
But if it was me, I'd be like, yo, it's close. Like, this is it. This is what it was. That was fine. You know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that was it.
That's gross, bro. I mean, I'm glad you're okay, but yuck.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. That's okay. But yeah, so like, I mean, the other thing too, I was just like, I was trying to like pass the time, and I was just going through Netflix to see what I could watch, but I've already watched a lot of the stuff that was on there. So I was like, I was trying to figure out, what did I end up watching? I think I watched Shameless, which is funny. Shameless is good. I like that show.
No, it's not.
Why? What show? Okay, tell me a good show then.
I don't know. I don't really watch Netflix like that. I watch a lot of South Park.
I know you watch South Park.
South Park it's so bad, but like it's so funny.
Yeah. Did you watch Squid Game?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, well, hang on. Before you start, did you like it?
No.
What? Oh, okay, we're about to have some disagreements.
I hated it.
Wow.
I hated it.
Wow.
But
all right,
probably not for the reason you probably think.
Okay.
As a show and as like a production, storytelling, all that stuff, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hated the story itself.
Explain. Like, what do you mean? Like the underdog, like that people just like
it was okay. For those of you who haven't watched it but have seen all the memes about Squid Game, it's basically these people that are in debt that they can't get out of. This organization of like masked people put them through like these Hunger Games. Winner's gonna get like, I think the equivalent was like 20 or 50 something million Canadian.
Yeah.
But it was like
4 billion won or something.
Won or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like they put them through like these children games like red light, green light, or oh dang, spoiler alert, I forgot to say that, but I don't care.
Marbles,
like kid games, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you lose, you die. They kill you. So I watched the first episode and I was like, okay. Right. And then when it got to that scene with the red light, green light.
Yeah.
And then after the first guy got shot, and then everybody figured it out and they started running, and then the gun was just like obliterating people. I was like, this is too sadistic for me. Like,
oh, really? So that's the reason why.
The concept is it was too dark. Like, I didn't even want to continue watching it, but I was like, I feel like I have to for conversation.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it.
Really?
I didn't like the overall concept. It was too dark for me. It was like, I'm not a fan of people killing people for fun.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If it's like, gang versus gang and like you're whatever and like you're trying to protect yourself and like there's like a beef and like there's like equal, struggle in the fight, then okay, if someone dies, it is what it is, If it's a superhero, same thing, you're fighting. It's like you're at least allowed to fight. This one, you're just killing them for pleasure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like that.
That's fine. I'm a big fan of shows that like essentially test what like human nature is supposed to be. So this was an interesting story of like the psychology behind like what lengths you will actually go to well, live, but also like free yourself of debt. Like what are the lengths you will actually go to, which is interesting to see because like there are some characters like the old man who is just in it just to be in it, has no real stake in it, while other people are like the snake tattoo face guy who's like in it being like, I'm gonna kill everybody in my way because I'm not dying out here, right? So it's the psychology behind every single person's own moral compass of what they need to do. And it's crazy. Like even at the end, like people's like morality changes because they're like, well, I've made it this far. I'm not stopping for anything. So I like that aspect of it. And also it has a lot of like, a lot of like nods and like inspiration from like some animes that I've seen as well. So I was like, okay, this is very interesting to see it in real life. But I personally enjoyed it. I thought it was good. And I've always been a big fan of like foreign TV shows and films. Like one of my favorite foreign TV shows, if you guys get a chance to, it focuses on a lot of, I don't want to spoil it because it's really good. And if you guys want to watch it, it's called Dark. And it's like a German-based show. You just like
dark things, bro.
But it's a really good show. It's a really good show. So I'm a big fan of foreign TV shows because I think they don't get the respect in like mainstream media that they deserve. So it's cool to see stuff like that. But I thought it was great. And I thought it was fantastic.
The part that like had me shook too, and more spoilers, I don't care. When the Americans came through, that was some horrible acting. But like terrible acting. The reason I'm saying that is because this guy who made this movie made it how long ago?
10 years, apparently. Right? Well, he pitched it 10 years ago.
Right? And it just got picked up by Netflix now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they were doing all those games to entertain Americans in the movie. But then this dark, sadistic movie, when it blows up, is because America picked it up.
And so essentially it's entertaining the Western side of the world.
Like the reason they were playing the game in the show is exactly what happened. Why America picked, like, you get what I mean?
Yeah, that's so meta. Oh, I don't like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't like it. It's like, if it was a book, I'd probably enjoy it more.
Yeah, you say that a lot with some of the TV shows and stuff like that.
Like
you're not
Hunger Games.
Yeah,
kind of the same thing. Making people kill each other, like,
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan, but the book of the Hunger Games, I liked it.
Interesting.
Because I think the perspective coming from the book, it focuses on more so like one character, depending on if it's written in third person or first. But like Hunger Games, for example, it's from Katniss's perspective.
Correct.
So it's not so much you're just watching these people live, like you're her in the book. Right? In this movie, you're just spectating people kill people that need help.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I've always been a fan of the ones like that, again, test the extent of how far you'll go to do something. So, and like, I commend like every single person on that show. Like, it was very well acted. Like, it was a really good show.
The voice act, the dubs, I didn't like.
Oh, you watched it dubbed?
Yeah.
No. What? Bro. You couldn't. No.
What?
I'm so bad right now.
I don't know why.
It's just it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing.
Sounds
it's just
personal.
It is. If it was made in Korean and watch it as how it was made. The dub is so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, but so are the what's it called? The subtitles.
The subtitles? Yes, I did hear that. I heard that they were not subbed correctly, and a lot of Korean people were. Well, my friend, one of my friends from work, she's Korean, and she was telling me like she's watching the show, and I'm like, only my people would be making a show this crazy.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, like I heard like there's one scene with this girl that's in the games, and she's apparently like her character is supposed to be like a mob boss kind of thing. But, but the way it was dubbed and the subtitles, whatever, it just made her seem crazy.
Yeah, like a crazy chick just all by herself.
There's one part where she's calling this guy old man, right? Because just straight translation, it translates to old man. But context, she's actually calling him daddy.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the girl that was smashing in the bathroom with that guy, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They're getting it on and she's calling him old man. It's weird. But context, she's actually calling him daddy.
Yeah.
So.
Nothing.
So either way, like even if you read the subtitles or watch the dub, they're saying the same thing.
I just think
I don't want to read while I'm watching something. I'd rather just read.
I'm the opposite because I watch a lot of anime, so that's probably why. And I like the voice. The voice acting sounds way more like realistic than in comparison to like English.
Well, I mean, obviously, but yeah, I personally like I don't watch something to read. I feel like if I'm gonna read, I'm gonna read. If I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it.
It's fair enough. But yeah, no, I thought it was great.
And also, I watched one episode in Korean.
Yeah.
But I don't think the subtitles were done well enough where like I could see.
What do you mean? Like they were small?
Not like sometimes subtitles should have like maybe like an outline in black so you can actually read it no matter what's on the screen. But sometimes like if this scene was really bright, I can't read some of the subtitles.
Oh, yeah, because it's like see-through almost.
Yeah, like it gets masked by whatever is happening in the background. Now I gotta squint to see, and like I'm losing. Like it's just too much. I don't care. I'll listen to it.
Would you attend a Squid Game?
No.
What if it was like to save your family's life?
No.
It was to save your wife's life.
I watched the show. They went there willingly.
That's true. That's true. It's not a hostage thing.
If I'm forced to be there,
no, it's not.
That's a different story. But I'm not choosing to do that.
Fair
I'll be broke. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, no. I mean, the show's blown up, so everybody's been talking about it.
Yo, Halloween, man. You're gonna hear some stories about people just dying from Squid Game type games.
Yeah, that's gonna be like, you know how like what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? I think it was like 3 years ago. Every like girl was dressed up as like the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn.
No,
everybody dressed up like that. Everybody this year is gonna be like Squid Game.
I don't do Halloween.
I don't either.
So like, I'm not really privy to like what people are wearing this Halloween.
I've never gone trick or treating.
I think I've gone once in my life when I was like maybe like 3.
Yeah.
I'm not into.
My parents just said it was a duppy from the beginning, so I'm just like, I'll just accept that and fun.
Listen, I don't judge anybody who's listening that is of the Caucasian persuasion. I don't judge you at all. Halloween, if that's what you do, by all means, enjoy yourself. I grew up with black people. I couldn't even watch Pokemon.
Thank you.
I couldn't watch Digimon.
Nope.
I couldn't watch Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's a monster.
Even
can't watch that.
Even Power Rangers, my grandma said was of the devil.
Yep.
So
speak on it.
I'm not into it, you know? If Halloween was strictly just like little kids in superhero costumes, sure. But like there's too much. There's too much, you know.
Do you think you'd ever take your kids Halloween like trick or treating?
Me and Priya, we had this discussion because she grew up trick or treating.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I personally don't care for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the conclusion is we came up with. We might have to revisit that conversation.
Let's revisit it on the actual Halloween weekend.
But I will let you guys know what we decide.
All right, sounds good.
I don't remember. I don't think you should play with duppies. That's just my,
I agree.
Don't do it.
Yeah. No. What was it? What happened last week? It was the social media thing happened. What was that?
Oh, the outage?
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know it happened.
I did. So
did you know it happened because or did you were you just on social media and you're like, oh my gosh, it's broken?
No, I heard it's because somebody took the actual not the URL, but the actual server of the actual thing I was trying to sell it. From what I understood.
I don't even know what that means.
So for example, you know how only one person can have Facebook.com, right? You can't you can't have another Facebook.com because the domain, that's what they were saying. So somebody hacked it apparently, and it was trying to sell it on the internet for Facebook.com, and they got tons and tons and tons of people's information or whatnot. And because of this, he switched the domain name and it shut down everything. And because Facebook pretty much just owns everything, like Instagram, I'm pretty sure Snapchat as well, or whatever, the entire internet essentially shut down. So for a time, so I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read. So it Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, everything just shut down for a time.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah,
I really don't be on social media like that.
Mm-hmm.
I go on to post whatever I need to post, or look at whatever I need to look at. But I'm not on it to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not I didn't even know till the next day, and I was like, oh, I saw the meme saying oh, the outage, whatever. I had no clue what they meant.
Yeah, so it was that. I will admit, it's crazy to see how much I actually noticed, because again, you're different and I'm different in that sense. I checked my phone, unfortunately, probably more times than I can count. I was like,
do you think you rely on social media?
In what capacity? If in terms of my day-to-day life,
yeah,
no, I don't require it.
For example,
it's just something that I choose to require.
If social media was gone tomorrow, everything, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything was gone tomorrow, are you gonna be okay? And I know you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But
no, of course I'm gonna be because it's so interconnected into what we do on a daily basis that I think it will, for everybody, most people, some people other might be different, but it'll definitely take some time to get used to, and I'll feel it being it's that itch of being I gotta check this, I gotta be up to date on the latest thing.
I would be happy. I hate social media.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's not that I hate it. It's just I agree that it's a lot. But I think again,
I wish social media was strictly for businesses.
Interesting.
That's it. I think the fact that everybody's on social media drives me nuts.
Do you think do you say that because there are people who shouldn't have social media, period?
No. I don't think everybody needs to be interconnected like that.
Okay, explain, because
okay.
I gotta.
Let me think. I think we've come to a point in life where social media runs things so much that we don't even know what's real or what's not anymore.
Agreed.
So, for example, my Instagram is mine, right? I didn't start it as an artist. I didn't start it as whatever, right?
Yeah.
So now that transition of it's my personal thing to now I'm posting the podcast, I'm posting music, right? And that trying to make a business and use it legit, it gets lost now because people just see you and they're like, oh, they don't take what you do seriously because everybody's on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
go ahead. On one hand, I'll be scrolling, and a lot of my Instagram is like business stuff. Like I went through actually a detox. I don't follow any meme pages anymore.
Really?
Yeah, right? Because I just find like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like why am I
taking this time out of my day?
Yeah, for what? Right? To read a meme that's a little bit funny or a little bit toxic or very much toxic. Like it's just
that is very true. I did notice that this past week you did slow down on because the way EJ and I work with Instagram, we just send each other memes there. Mm. So when I saw for like a solid like week and a half, close to 2, I was like, he's not sending anything. I'm like, did I do something? I was like,
dang. You know why? I was gonna talk about it last week, but then you broke your foot.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So it's been a minute.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
But I just like it. Like I don't understand. Like I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Mm-hmm. But it puts everybody in this light of I'm doing something spectacular.
Okay.
When you don't have to be doing something spectacular to be happy or successful. Right? But now it puts this like pressure on us to feel like if I'm not doing what they're doing, I'm not
doing enough.
Exactly. When you very well could be.
Yeah.
I see so many times like people I used to go to school with, right? Because we're at that age now where like life is starting. Like our age is ending, like our post-secondaries.
Yeah, we're going it's more like settling down phase.
Right? We're starting careers, or we're going into like that second phase of post-secondary. Where it's like the masters and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school. I didn't go to post-secondary. Right? So I always have thought like I have to take the route that's like you do it on your own. Right? But then so that's my mentality, right? But now we're at that age and I'm seeing different people doing different things, right? And I can't help but compare.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts. Cause I sit here and I look at what I do have and what I have accomplished, and like I can't even be proud of myself because I feel like I'm not doing what other people are. But I don't even know these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I agree.
Like I'll see people post things like they're taking trips to LA, eating at expensive restaurants, right? And I'm sitting there like what? Right? And then I start like regretting my life decisions. I'm like, dang, I shouldn't have got a car as early as I did. I shouldn't have moved out as early as I did. Right? And I start taking my life that only I can live and no one else really cares at the end of the day. Like people care, but they don't care as much as you do, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, dang, I suck. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I hate social media. I hate it so much.
I get that. And I think this is where I think you and I differ because for me, a lot of that stuff very rarely bothers me. But I get your point because I think it's so saturated that I see it all the time that's why I think it doesn't bother me. Because everybody's doing it or thinks or trying to flex on everybody that they're doing it.
It's a giant, to me, it's like a giant. Okay, forgive my language.
I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
It's like a giant circle jerk. Like everybody just flexing on each other. Everybody just flexing on it. Like, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. But yet everyone is doing the same thing. But nobody's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I agree with you. And if Instagram or stuff like that became just for businesses and for people what they're doing, you would see tons more support for everybody.
Right?
Everybody would be supporting everybody because it's just everybody's actually doing something.
Right? Especially doing music for me. I'm at a point now where I can confidently say my music slaps. I don't care what no one says. Right? But because everybody is on social media, the amount of people that can put their music out there and get somewhere faster than you, but their music doesn't sound like as good as yours,
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
But then part of me also knows, like behind the scenes, there's a lot of these rappers, these new rappers that are all popping up places, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they're using to fund their artistry is things that are not, you know?
Yeah.
They
Read between the lines, people.
Yeah. So it's like, dang, like, is that what I have to do to, you know? I gotta go start like doing some dark stuff just to fund what I really want to do.
Gotta go play Squid Game.
You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It drives me nuts.
It's very true, and I think that, it's crazy. Like the mindset I had, and I think again, you judging me, I don't care because probably half of you are doing the same thing. Fluff all you, but it was the point where I was like, I'm on expecting a certain person or a certain somebody on there to post something. And for me to miss that, it's like, oh, I've missed a big part of this day of my life, which is such a bad mindset to have. It's really bad. It's really bad. I know you are. And I'm judging myself for having that. And I had to realize, especially on that, because it was the Monday that it happened. And I think I felt it the most when I posted our preview on the Monday, and I posted it before the outage happened. And then,
I saw you post about it, and I think that's where I was like, "What just happened?"
Right? So I posted, and then I'm like, and then everything came back around like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. And I posted it, but I'm like, all my hard work I posted on there, and nobody could see it because it was all shut down. And now I'm only going to get a certain amount of viewership or interaction because of this outage.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang. So in reality, like I agree. Like for a personal standpoint, it's a very like toxic environment for yourself to be in. But I think as well for a business, I think it's even worse when it comes to the amount of saturation that's in there.
Oh, let me rephrase. I think social media should be for content creators. Not just businesses. Like,
well, that's what Instagram originally was for.
Like, it should be for people making content.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not to say, like, if you're posting pictures of you going out or whatever, like, I'm not knocking
you. Do you.
I'm not knocking you on that. Do whatever, right? Just personally, I'm just like, why does everybody have to know what I made for dinner tonight? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm knocking everybody just as much as I'm knocking myself in the idea that, like, maybe reevaluate, like, how much, like, social media has kind of a hold on people. I'm not even fronting. Like, it probably has a good hold on me in terms of, like, the amount of time I actually spend on there when I could be doing other stuff. I'll just be flat out honest about that. So it's just bit by bit, just figuring out, okay, do I need to check? Do I need to do this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all that. Yeah. Very strange.
But see, I think for me, it might I might be on like the opposite spectrum where because I feel the way I do about it, I don't post enough
to really
on what I should be posting. Because I post it and I'm like, dang, like someone else is doing the same thing, right? And because I know it's so oversaturated, I'm like, dang, people are looking at me like I'm just another, you know, SoundCloud rapper who's just trying to, you know. But I'm like, but the behind the scenes things I do, they wouldn't know.
Well, exactly.
So it drives me nuts. I'm like, people don't see what's going on here in the studio. They just see what I'm posting, right? But when I post it, because everyone else has the funds to make it look good, it looks like, you know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
Crazy.
It's just, again, it's just perspective. Everybody thinks that you're doing well, when in reality, you could be doing just as bad as everyone else.
Right.
So it's not really
it just breeds too much comparison for me, personally.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
And it drives me crazy.
But yeah.
It doesn't put me in a good headspace. So
yeah, I agree. And it does that, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk today about Dave Chappelle. Because I thought this was going to be
Mother Chappelle.
Yeah. So For those of you who do not know, he had a big contract with Netflix, and so he did a bunch of specials. And this is the last special that is in his contract for Netflix. And it's called The Closer.
The Closer.
The Closer. I don't know why I said The Closer.
Because you can't read.
I can't read. Anyways, he did it, and I watched it. You watched it as well, correct?
Yes, I did.
We'll get into our opinions a little bit after, but I'm just gonna lay out the story right now. He did it, and as you know, Dave Chappelle is not really a person that will be muzzled in the sense that he will talk about whatever and whatever.
Cares about what you think.
Yeah, he does not care. He does not care. He does, but he doesn't. He really doesn't. So a lot of his comedy reflects around what's going on that's very prominent in today's society. So, for example, he talks a lot about race. He talks a lot about gay and LGBTQ community. He talks about the transgender community, a lot of other stuff. And like essentially bases that around his own personal experience and as well what it is to be a comedian in this time period. So it's very well done. Again, Sticks and Stones was one of the first ones that I watched, and I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was one of his,
that was your first ever Dave Chappelle's.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So I've been watching a lot of his other older stuff, and it's just as funny, if not funnier. So he did this one, and as usual, just the same thing with Sticks and Stones. Social media went ballistic. They went insane.
Yep.
Because a lot of the stuff that he was talking about was, quote unquote, offending a lot of people, specifically the transgender community. And it came out that people were pissed off, and a lot of employees who are transgender who work at Netflix were not happy about this, that Netflix was claiming to be like an inclusive environment, but also going against everything that they hold dear to their hearts or whatever, what they stand for. And it was announced, what was it? I think as of yesterday or some other time, that they said we're going to be transgender Netflix employees and coworkers are going to plan a walkout the following week over Dave Chappelle's latest comedy special. And like, we're going out in solidarity, being like, we do not accept this. And a lot of people have actually been threatening to quit as well, just being like, don't really want that.
If you guys want to quit, Netflix, hire me. Somebody else everybody's replaceable. I don't know.
Right. So, okay, let's talk about what we thought about the special, and then let's talk about the backlash that kind of has come behind it. Okay.
All right.
So you can, if you want to start, you can start. What did you think of the actual special?
I love Dave Chappelle's comedy. I think all of it's always funny. I think out of all of his specials, it wasn't my favorite of all time.
Okay.
But it was still funny. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat too. I watched it. I thought there were some jokes in there that were mad funny. But yeah, it was more of a, how do I explain this? It was more of his final like love song to like the audience of comedy for Netflix, and kind of just explaining his heart behind like why he makes these jokes, which was very cool. And I think for a lot of people who are pissed off at this special, they lost that main message. I don't think they really watched it. They only watched certain clips, and that's what I think pissed them off. Watch the whole thing. Watch the whole thing. I think if you watch it and you're still pissed off, you didn't get the special.
Do you think people have the right? No, I'm not going to say the right. I feel like that's not the right word. Do you feel like people have grounds to stand on getting mad at comedians?
Okay, you have the right to be mad at anybody.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to use the word right. I said grounds to stand on.
Okay, yeah. You have, your own personal moral grounds to stand on, but at the same time, if you're paying to go see this person and you get pissed off, that's no fault of anybody but yourself. You can't be mad at something that you're paying for to see.
Like,
I don't
understand why the concept of if you don't like it, turn it off is not a thing. I don't understand that.
It's like,
especially for comedians.
Well, comedians' job is essentially to speak truth to power, to talk about all the stuff that people don't talk about. And if you laugh, laughter is the most truthful form of like anything that you can do because it shows how you truly feel about something in the moment. It exposes so much of how you feel.
I mean, it's deeper than that. It's funny. So Priya just graduated. She studies psychology. So we listened to some podcast on our way up to Barrie last week. Okay. And it was about the psychology of jokes, laughter, humor.
Okay.
Right? And they were talking about what makes something funny. Because when you think about it, what makes something funny?
Yeah.
It's subjective. Right?
Agreed.
I can't quote exactly what they said, but it was like, there's a fine line from uncomfortability. Well, no, they said that there's a few kinds of of laughter or humor, whatever, right? There's a kind of like, where like if somebody falls, we laugh because at the same time, they didn't really get hurt. Yeah. So the scare of like, oh my gosh, that could have been bad, but knowing they're perfectly fine is humorous to people.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm just gonna laugh because the feeling of like, but he's all right. I can be okay. It's like a release.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing. There's like a shock value of like something that should be offensive, but that lies within truth.
Agreed.
Right. And it depends on what side of the offense you're on is what you determine if it's funny or not. So to get mad at somebody saying a joke that you don't like, I mean, sure, get mad about it, but like, get over it.
Yeah, well, I agree. I'm like, I will never be mad at comedians ever because it's their job to poke fun at everything. It's not their job to be.
And that's like, the thing too. Like he doesn't exclusively pick out LGBTQ.
No, he picks.
He goes after everybody.
Right? If you're being stupid, you're being stupid. Like he literally in the special called out black people for the hate crimes on Chinese people. And one of the jokes was like he got. I just remember the joke, and he's got COVID because he said he got COVID, and then he's like, "Yeah, those black cells beat up those Chinese cells."
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, holy, like shock value, of course, but it's funny.
It's funny,
right?
And if it's not, then just keep it moving. Like you don't have to.
That's right. Like you don't have to pretend to like his jokes. I'm not saying that, but again, if you don't like it, turn it off. Find something you do like.
I don't think there has to be a cause for everything.
Yeah.
Is that insensitive to say? I hope it doesn't sound insensitive. It might.
What do you mean? Like a cause for it? Like, oh, because something pissed you off, there needs to be a movement or something.
Yeah. I don't think everything needs a movement.
I don't think.
Or justify, like.
Sure, you
or
can.
Or retribution, like, whatever you're looking for. I don't think everything needs it.
In some instances, sure. For a comedian, wrong battle to pick.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like nowadays everything has to have a something.
Agreed.
So what kind of world do we want to like? Are we going to live in? Like,
right? And and that was
like. Here's my question: what is the goal for all of this, all these movements? And I'm not speaking to the ones that are fighting against legit like oppressed people. I'm not talking about like the Me Too movement. I agree with the Me Too movement. I'm talking about like stuff like this. Cancel Dave Chappelle because he said an offensive joke. What's the goal?
Well, that's the thing. Like in and of itself, there's no
comedians
goal
just not
it.
Exist anymore, or do the jokes have to now be remedial and knock jokes?
Right. It's the equivalent to like going back to school when someone makes fun of you or says something dumb. It's like you think that in that moment you have to be a child and just being like, it's the end all be all. No, you just move on. They said something dumb. Cool. Move along.
And the thing is too, like, he wasn't saying anything like hateful either.
No!
That's the part that kills me.
The whole point of this special was to show the
hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy behind these movements, but at the same time explain how he's never been against them.
And how every movement has its flaws.
Exactly.
Every movement is full of hypocrites, and every movement is attacking every other movement.
Right? And by getting mad at that, you're proving his point. It's crazy. Like I went to go look and again, trying to stay out of the idea of a lot of Hollywood being politicized when in reality, I'm pretty sure it is. It really is.
Everything's politicized
Yeah,
nowadays.
like because like for example, critics are like so inclusive and like leaning towards a certain direction in terms of politics. You can see that based on how they reviewed his specials. So I went to go check on Rotten Tomatoes and I wanted to see because Rotten Tomatoes is a cool thing where they do the critic score, but they also do audience score. And it shows how, right? The audience is where I usually go for because I'm like, these are real people who have no bias. They either think it's good or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle's The Closer has a 43% gross Rotten Tomatoes with 7 reviews. Pretty much calling it one of these one of the reviews say Chappelle's rampant transphobia doesn't need to be a problem as long as the jokes land, but his obsession with grievances supersedes any pretense of crafting actual humor. The comedian's new Netflix special, The Closer, is a panic defense of controversial past jokes. The humor doesn't land, neither does the justification. And Chappelle's most incendiary, troubling, and unapologetic one yet. Right? So like everybody's just essentially going at him for
I don't know. Right? I don't know how you can review a comedian. Like
well, exactly, right?
You either like it, like I don't like the whole like it lacks humor. You can't say that.
Right?
You might can't not say your that. Humor. Humor is not a universally objective thing.
Mm-hmm. So it has 43. The audience score is a whopping 96%.
Of course.
Right? It just shows the disconnect that reviewers have to what actually is funny and what isn't funny. Same with movies as well.
Like for Dave to be so irritating and being canceled after every show, selling him out every time he doesn't do it. So
right? Like for example, Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones, probably this was like when he started like being like when people tried to start canceling him for real. Mm. That one has sitting on a 35% on Rotten Tomatoes with 17 reviews. Audience score 99%. Like, come on, people. Like, if you're talking about how the majority of people feel like Dave Chappelle is transphobic or Dave Chappelle should be canceled, you're not the majority. You're not. It's proven by that. Like, it's 2,500 plus reviews of people just saying, no, we found it funny. Because he made fun of everyone.
It's almost like people can't laugh at themselves anymore.
It's true. It really is.
Like, I think it's okay to laugh at yourself.
Agreed.
I'm a black person. I love black people. I stand by my black people. Mm-hmm. There are some things that we do that's funny to me. There are some things we do that are not the right thing to do, but it's funny. I can't lie. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Laugh at yourself. It's okay. Like, the world will not end if you crack a joke at your own expense.
It's real, right? Like, for example, like the perfect example is the last story that he told about his trans friend, Daphne. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Right? And so like
she can laugh at herself.
Well, that's what I was saying. All the jokes he was making, all the gay jokes, all the transgender jokes, she was laughing alongside him, being like, these are freaking funny because you're poking fun at something that I understand that I can also agree to an extent flawed, right? And essentially, like when he started getting canceled because of Sticks and Stones, she came out and defended him, being like, no, like you're canceling. To cancel someone is to essentially think less of them, right? And like she explained, it's like, I can't think less of Dave Chappelle because I know who he is, I know what he stands for, and none of the things that they're saying are true. And then the entire transgender community turned on her, and they all started chastising her and everything. And then in the special, if you guys watch it, Chappelle explains that she killed herself. Now, we don't know if that's based on the backlash she got because of that or whatever, but regardless, she killed herself. And then he essentially made a joke saying that like she jumped off a roof and like that's some gangster-ish. And no woman would be doing that kind of gangster-ish, right? Only a man is doing that. And like the entire crowd went quiet. and be like, oh, you can't talk about that. And it's like, and he's like, hang on. Right?
She would have liked it.
Exactly. She's like, he says pretty much is like, well, do you know what? Do you know who would have laughed at that joke? Daphne. And that's the point. That's the whole point of it, is the fact that like you claim to want to cancel somebody when in reality there are other people who are part of your community that find this stuff funny. Hence being why it's so subjective.
You know what it is?
And I'm just,
you know what the issue is, I think, in today's society? I think people are identifying themselves with things that are not their identity. So, for example, the LGBTQ. I feel like a lot of people today identify who they are as their sexuality.
Yeah.
Right? And when you, I think when you identify yourself as whatever, whether it's your sexuality, your skin color, whatever, then you get offended by the jokes.
Yeah.
You know?
When you're not your person.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you don't identify as those things, then the jokes don't feel the same. I'm black, but I'm like, that's not my identity. I am black, but who I am, like my characteristics, is not my skin color. So if you make a joke about black people and it's funny,
right?
I don't take offense to it.
No.
Because I know there are a lot of black people who are like me, and there are a lot of black people who aren't. Right? We're not all the same. Right? Yep. So I know who I am personally. So if the shoe doesn't fit, I'm gonna laugh. And if it does fit, I might laugh still. You know? Because I know how to detach who I am and who I want to be as a man. And it doesn't really have anything to do with my skin color.
Well,
that's just
right?
a bonus. I love being a black man, but
yeah,
that's not the end all be all of who I am.
Right? And I think that like it's crazy for me because hot take, but they claim to be the most like marginalized group in today's society. If anything, you are the most accepted group of this society today. I don't think there's anybody that goes against what you guys stand for at all as a majority of people. I don't
want to join in on this. I don't want to get canceled, bro.
You don't want to get canceled? Well, too bad. And the reason why I say that is because Chappelle is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like he went against the norm of what people are saying. It's like, you're not really marginalized. You just don't like the jokes that some people say. He's the perfect example of being like, well, if you claim to be marginalized, but you're like, you're the most accepted group in society right now, that anybody who would go against you would be seen as a bigot.
Yes.
But Chappelle does it Chappelle does it in a way that is essentially supporting the group. He's
calling a spade though.
Calling a spade a spade.
What did you say?
I call it ace and ace.
Call it ace and that's what we're saying from now on. We're calling it ace and ace.
Call it ace and ace, baby. Right? But again, and that's where I agreed. It's like the fact that anybody's movement could be seen as like the least marginal or the most marginalized group. But at the same time, if you can't poke fun at it for being what it is, that's your identity. You're not a person anymore.
We talked about it during that the feminism podcast. I don't know if I said it, but if I didn't, kind of to the point, like why I wouldn't identify as a feminist, because it's not who I am.
Right?
I can support it. I could also critique it and laugh at it too.
Agreed. Right?
Like just because I laugh at it doesn't mean
I hate you.
I hate it.
Right?
I love my mom. I love my grandma. My grandma, but she is funny. And she does some wild things that don't make sense.
Right?
But I love her.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
Yeah. Like one of the funniest jokes he ended on was being like, because she died, and Chappelle set up a trust fund for Dorman's daughter. And basically he said is like, I hope to speak with her someday, that he knew her father, and I want her to know that he was a hell of a woman.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's funny.
It's funny. Like, I can't help it. It's funny.
Like how you not, like again, and I'm not delivering this as Chappelle does, but you got to watch the special. Oh my gosh. So funny.
It's funny to me. It is what it is. I'm sorry. If you don't think it's funny, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's funny. I find it funny.
I will say that if you don't, to an extent, see the humor of it, or at least don't get mad at Chappelle for finding it funny, that's your opinion. You don't know who Daphne was.
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
So you can't judge that.
No.
And that's the whole point of this thing.
Apparently, her family came out defending Dave.
Yep.
Saying like, everything he said about her was true. Yep. And we love him. We met him. He loved her so much.
Yeah, Becky came out and said Daphne was in awe of Dave's graciousness. She did not find his jokes rude, crude, off-coloring, off-putting, anything. She thought his jokes were funny. Daphne understood humor and comedy. She was not offended. Why would her family be offended?
Mm-hmm.
Right? The reason why is because you're taking the mantle now of being the victim.
For what? For no reason,
for what?
too.
It's not you. You're not Daphne.
For no reason.
You're not Daphne. Leave it alone. Gosh.
Like, you know how many times I've been talking to people, right? I walk into a conversation and I hear the girls or women talking and they're like, men are trash. I can't stand men. Right? Mm-hmm. And in my head, I can get upset and be like, what? Like, I'm a man. Mm-hmm. But I know that she's saying that because some man probably did something wild and foul. Mm-hmm. You know? So I'll join it. I'll be like, oh no, what happened? You know? Yeah. And then they'll tell me the story and I'll be like, you're right. Like, you got it. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes men are trash.
Yeah.
Sometimes
we're not saying that Yep.
Right? But yeah. But it'd be crazy for me to jump into that conversation and get upset because she's saying all men are trash. I know she's not talking about me.
Yeah.
Even though she said it, I know she's not talking about me particularly.
Right? You can't take the victimhood complex of being like, oh, I am now representing every man.
That man could be very much trash.
Yeah.
Glad bang on a Saturday, fam. Like,
it's true. And so, I mean, to the story of now, like the transgender Netflix employees and coworkers walking out, have fun.
Yeah, like why? Like, don't lose a bag. Don't lose your money for stupidness. That's dumb.
One of the funniest comments I think I saw on 6Buzz, because you sent it to me last night. Someone said, "Don't let the door hit you out on the way out." I was like, wow.
Because people don't care.
For real, though.
Real talk. People do not care.
It's real. And actually, I think I saw a story where
Dave don't care.
Yeah. Ted Sarandos, who owns Netflix, he actually doubled down on Dave Chappelle's defense, where he said content doesn't directly translate to real world harm.
It doesn't.
Right?
Like, and here's where the cancel topic gets so lost. Mm-hmm. Because now we're canceling Dave the same way we canceled Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Or R. Kelly. But those are very different things.
Correct.
With R. Kelly and Bill Cosby's case, they were actually harming people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually, like, physically harming people.
Right.
With Dave, your feelings got hurt.
Yep. Subjective feeling versus an objective fact.
Yeah, like, your feelings got hurt. Now you want to cancel him. Go put some Robitussin on it. Like,
it's real though.
I'm not one to say get over hurt. Like, if you're hurting about something, you don't have to just get over it. If you're offended by a comedian, get over it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
You don't know him. He doesn't know you. Why does that have any effect on your life?
You don't have to watch it. You really don't.
No one is forcing you with two eyes open to watch that special.
If Netflix suggests it, if they put the suggestion on your thing, you can click the next thing. Go watch Squid Game. Probably enjoy watching people kill people for fun more than hearing realistic
some transgender jokes or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Chappelle stays winning all the time. Like, keep canceling him. Not going to work, but
you can't cancel someone that doesn't care.
That's right. Exactly.
Just and that's loved by everybody but you.
Yeah. For real. So, but yeah. Anyways, it's time for Question of the Week. Question of the Week.
Question of the Week. Oh, dang. What was it? Oh, I remember it. See, this is why I got to write it down. Because I usually put it on my phone, but now my phone's recording. So I can't look at it. Question of the Week. In this day and age, 2021, almost 2022, we talked about it earlier. Everything is saturated with opinions, perspectives, flexing, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for stress relief? What's your stress relief in 2021? I think we all should have. If you don't have one, you should find one.
Agreed. I like to watch movies. Movies is like my kind of like stress reliever.
Really?
Yeah, I like watching. Well, and that's why I usually like watching whatever film. If it piques my interest, I'll watch it. I'm a big movie buff. I like watching any genre of film. So that's kind of my stress.
Mine is video games. There was a point, I think, when I hit like 20, 21, I slowed down on the video games.
Yeah.
And my stress relief became music. But now that music is also a business for me.
Yeah, you need something else.
I need something else.
Yeah.
So I've gone back to the video games.
Yeah.
I can just sit there and not worry about anything.
Yeah, it doesn't require any
it's
like
relaxing
actual
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. But anyways, guys, question of the week. What is your stress reliever with all this stuff going around? What do you use to relax?
And do you have one? Do you have a stress relief?
Yeah. You got one. If you don't,
find one. Find one.
Yeah.
I want to turn working out into my stress relief.
I'm waiting to get.
But it's the opposite.
Like, I know. I'm just trying to get back into the gym. Yeah. But as well, also watch the special. If you heard anything here that you did not agree with us, like at all, and you thought we were like hateful,
get over it.
First of all, yeah, like watch it and then have a new perspective on it. Because if you're just watching the clips that are all over Twitter, which Dave Chappelle says does not exist, it's not a real place.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
That was funny. That was a funny one when you said that.
That was jokes.
They canceled me. I can't. I don't want to give away the jokes. You guys gotta go watch.
Yeah. Watch the special and come back and have a new perspective on, okay, is this really worth dying on this hill on?
Or
is it really worth it?
Or come back and have the same perspective and then get upset and quit your job.
Yeah. Go join Netflix, quit the job. There you go, full circle.
Yes, that's what I suggest.
Right? But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, comments, new topics you want us to talk about, let us know. You can DM us at Conflict and Interest on Instagram. As well, you can email us at conflictandinterest@gmail.com. Follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, as well. Leave a written rating on Apple Podcasts. It really does help boosting promotion and advertising for the show. As well, we're on YouTube, full visuals. You can see all our reactions. It's on, the link is in our Instagram bio, so you can go check it out there. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, the other thing too I was going to do this week, but I completely forgot, is Spotify has a brand new function where we can do polls and leave Q&As on the actual Spotify app.
Ooh.
Right? So next week we're going to try it out. We're going to leave some stuff that like isn't question of the week, but it's just some other stuff that you can answer. And we'll see how it works and a little more interaction with you guys, right? It'll be a little better. But anyways, EJ, where can they find you at, man?
Yo, I have a story.
You have a story?
I just thought of something.
All right, go for it.
Okay, because you were talking about YouTube. So like, you know how we're on YouTube and you guys have to see my face all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, I gotta like take care of my skin. I gotta get some like skincare going, right?
Oh yeah.
My wife is into that stuff. Like she got the whole set. So I was like, I need you to get me like a skincare routine to do on a regular basis. Cause I got blemishes, you know? I don't want blemishes on the camera.
Yeah.
So she gives me this routine. She's like, you're gonna wash your face, you're gonna use this thing, and you're gonna use this thing. And like she specifically says what the bottle was. Brain fart, I guess I forgot what the bottle was and I was using something else in her kit.
Oh, no.
Right? So one night now I'm doing it and but I'm doing it in front of her now. So she sees what I'm doing. And I take the thing and I'm putting it on my face. And she goes, that's not what I told you to use. So I'm like, yeah, it was. She goes, no, it's not. She goes, you know what that is? I said, what is it? As I'm putting it on my face. What is it? You know what it was, fam?
Oh boy.
Snail slime.
Bruh. Snail? Bro, you put bug on your face?
Bug, not even bug, slug. Bro, Bro.
Not even bug, slug.
And she laughed. She laughed at me like, man. She laughed.
Dang, man.
Yeah, that was my story though. I put snail slime on my face. Apparently it's good for you, but I put it on my face.
Are you still putting it on your face?
No. Now I'm using the actual thing she told me to use.
Okay, good.
But she puts it on her face regularly. And then I kiss her face, so I'm low-key like eating slugs, bro.
Yeah, you're eating slug, bro. That's gross. That's nasty.
But you can find me on Instagram. This is Juwan96 for more dumb stories about snail slime.
Yep. Maybe I'll cut my foot open again and we'll have another story.
Please don't. Please don't. Thanks.
Hey, you never know. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you guys next week.
Peace out, fam.